guys have been great. Nice job for Saturday.
Week, so kind of all concentration on this game. First game, you always got those glitches, working out all the kinks and whatnot. It's going to be on national TV on ESPN News. It's the third year we played these guys in a row. They've always played with a lot of effort and fight and kind of flown around in a pretty good way. And it's just obvious. You look at last year's game, and we made a few big plays. And there's a couple of those first game error plays where it kind of goes against them. We get up 45-7, and then at the end of the second quarter, into the first half, and start of the third quarter, we throw a pick six, and they scored 21 straight points to make it a 45-28 game. Didn't quit, and it's kind of obvious because the next week they go to Purdue, and they lose to Purdue 2013. And I believe Purdue returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown in a game that they won. They lost 2014 in a game that they won by 6 points at Purdue. So shows the fight of the team. It's evidence too, with the previous staff the year before. It's a 24-17 game, and they're chunking a Hail Mary the last play of the game into the end zone. So we got a lot of respect for the guys, their team, a lot of Indiana guys. It's Indiana State. It's, Terre Haute, Bloomington. There's a lot of crossover. People know each other, et cetera. I know we're excited too. I think we're recognizing Anthony Thompson this week and his accomplishments as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, to ever play here. And also being from Terre Haute, that game's going to mean a lot to him. And I know he means a whole lot to Hoosier Nation. He means a lot to our program and our kids. So we're going to be excited about representing AT this week, as well as the alumni and our team and all that kind of stuff. But really, it's a new start, new year. It's new for them. They've always played us well, and it's 3 years in a row. So we'll see what happens this week. For us, as always, you can talk and you can look at the film, and you're looking at last year's tape, and there's going to be new guys, and there's always new wrinkles. So sometimes the first games are kind of hard to gauge when you're watching tape of someone. You're watching last year's team playing last year's guys. And that being said, you kind of start concentrating more on us. So here's kind of where we are in the update of us, because I think it always starts more with you than the opponent. And you got to take care of yourself in the process and what's going on. I think we're more than ready for game week. Again, it's about us. We got 350 returning starters, or guys that have started the game 350 times. There's a lot of experience. It's the most in the Big Ten, one of the most in the country. I think our preparation through all our phases has been pretty good, going back to winter including the recruiting process and the way that went down for us, spring ball and the way we came out of spring with the new implementation of a defensive scheme, a lot of guys competing, fighting, getting some guys that were nicked up healthy and back. Summer was outstanding, new rules, coaches could be involved to some degree of workouts or video. Your freshmen are all here. A lot of those guys, it's a very good class. Getting those guys acclimated, up to speed was awesome. And I think our preseason practices have been outstanding. So I like the prep part of what's going on, and all that does is it sets up for our journey. We're a bigger team. We're a stronger team. We got experience. We got some depth with a lot of guys coming back, and we got some depth with a lot of freshmen coming in. We come out of camp in pretty good health. I think we come out in very good health, to tell you the truth. I think we come out in a really good state of mind, physically, how we prepared. I think we got a really good group of core leaders that we're going to lead on as we go through this journey. Again, I'm looking forward, like you guys, much like first game. I think as coaches, we're about as jacked just to see what you got when you put it all together, because you're going against yourself. So really just looking forward to seeing how we play, how we start, and then how we handle the highs and lows of game one, the highs and lows of the season, the tough practices, the little nicks that guys get along the way, the calls that are bounces that don't go your way. Just there's ebb and flow in games, there's ebb and flow in the season and life, and really just want to see how these guys handling up. You guys got your two deep today that I think you guys want more than I really worry about. I think I called you about an hour before we went out and said, this is, I guess, it. Because it really, we don't post it to the team. It's not in the locker room. It's not on meeting room doors. They practice every day. They kind of know who's 1 and 2, and they know some threes that are going to play. That maybe aren't on your piece of paper right now. So I think they kind of know their jobs. I expect many guys to play each and every week. I expect many guys to help us win each and every week. I'm not really concerned sometimes with who starts, because there'll be some twos play as much as ones. There'll be one guy might go out there first because somebody's going to be the first. We're going to play. Tevin's a great tailback. We're going to play 2 or 3 tailbacks. We have to. Shane Wynn's an awesome receiver, but we're going to play another guy out there to keep him fresh. You look at, we've got 9 offensive linemen that have started games. So you got 10 returning guys on defense that have started games. So a lot of guys have started, but to me, what's exciting, a lot of guys are going to play. And what I like about that, it's going to keep us fresh. It's going to keep us playing hard throughout the year. And more than anything, gives us a chance to play who's playing the best. We got some competition. If the guy's not on his game, a guy gets a hot hand, a guy plays well. if a guy gets an injury or something there. So I'm really excited about our depth and what we got. Injury updates to wrap it up for you. We do have 2 guys that have had injuries that are going to probably, it looks like, end their season. One senior linebacker, Stephen Funderburk, had a back injury. Stephen would have been in our 2 to 3 deep, playing some in special teams. He had a back surgery deal. It's going to take about 12, 14 weeks to recover, and that's going to eat the bulk of his season. He's a senior linebacker. He's played a little bit for us the last couple of years. He's done well. It's a tough break because he's a senior, and you kind of feel for him, and he's a heck of a kid. We're lucky we got some depth there, so as a team, I think we can handle it, but you don't like that for Steven as a senior. And then one of our running backs, our true freshman running back, Tommy Mister, a week ago had a knee injury. We hadn't had surgery yet, but it'll require surgery. I think he's got not an ACL, but a PCL injury, and I think he will have surgery, it looks like, this week, which basically will end his season, basically making him a redshirt. So 2 guys right now are on the shelf. We don't expect maybe to have for the season. Fortunately, those are 2 positions where we've got 6 running backs on scholarship and a lot of linebackers. You don't like it for those guys, but I think our team will have the depth to overcome that. Wes Rogers, Danny Friend, Anthony Casaro, and Dawson Fletcher have all had some injuries in preseason that have limited them. They're kind of day-to-day, week-to-week, kind of getting back in it, but they've missed some of the prep time that I don't anticipate them doing a lot this week. And with the open day coming, it might be 2 or 3 weeks before they had, whether it be a high ankle sprain or a knee sprain or something that just kind of glitched them there. So those 4 guys are a little gimpy, but outside of that, we're in good health as far as consistently guys practicing, had a good camp, a lot of work. Unfortunately, lose 2 solid kids and good players for their season. We hate that. But I think, again, preseason's been awesome. We're looking forward to the opportunity of playing the opener at high noon, 12:01 exactly, with Indiana State. And, again, expect them to come in with a lot of energy and effort and flying around like they did last year with their, it's going to be, they have nothing to lose. They'll be coming from all over the place. And a couple years ago, if you don't remember, 4th and 1, play action pass for a touchdown on 4th and 1. Because you're playing a team that has that wants to get a hunk of you. And again, respect them. Know it'll be tough. I do expect this team, though, to have a great week of preparation. Our camp has been awesome. I anticipate this week to be a lot of great focus, a lot of great work, and just looking forward to getting started. Questions?
Can you compare the way you feel about going into the season this year compared to how you felt going in last year and the year before and the year before?
Well, I think as much as anything, we just, so many guys have been around us long. That there's just a good understanding of how we want to practice and some things we want to do for the most part, handle our business. I think, we've recruited longer bodies and bigger guys, and we've had now 4 years of Colin Rarg's had 4 years in our weight program, and he's benching over 400 pounds now. And it starts when you bench 315 and you gain 20 pounds per cycle. And then 4 years later, you're at 395, 400, 405. It's 15, 20, 25 pound increments over time. So with a lot of those 3rd and 4th year guys being in the program to be developed, that gets you excited. And then you've recruited the last 2 years better. So you got some very good young talent. You've got some experience. But as much as anything, to me, what you just don't know in the opener is how you're going to put it all together. You're always going against yourselves, and it's O versus D, and you're kind of kicking, but you're not playing a game. How does the defense handle an offensive negative play on our part? We put them in a bad situation. Can they come out and get a stop? When they create a turnover, can the offense take advantage of it? When we need to punt the ball with a veteran punter, can we down that thing deep and give them a long field and pin them back and now go get easy points? So how do you play as a team? You've been practiced as a team, but now you got to learn to play as a team. And I think that's what's always interesting early in the season is how do you put it together? Because you've been working hard, but you've been kind of working against each other. Now you're kind of locking arms and hooking up together. So I think it's always interesting early just to really see when you put it all together, what are your deficiencies and how do you maximize and minimize those things?
You're more excited about this team than you have been the other?
Yeah, I think we're always, I'm not flat a lot of days. I don't know. I don't drink like decaffeinated coffee, but I don't drink a lot of coffee, I've never had one of those energy drinks. I don't need those. I'm kind of ready to roll. So nothing against the 5-hour guys and all them monster drinks you guys have, but I don't need that. I'm ready to roll. And I was ready the first couple of years, but I think the team's more prepared, and that excites you. But, man, you got to go play, and everybody's going to say, you beat these guys last couple of years, you got a better team. Nah, you got to go play. and I mean, you have the opportunity every week to be off your kilter and not play well. And as a coach, I'm accountable to get these guys ready to go. They're responsible to get ready to play. I'm accountable. I got to get it all set up. Man, they're responsible too. Everybody's got to be all in. So again, you're just, I mean, I think we've always been excited. We've been close. I mean, the last couple of years, you can say, hey, you've underachieved. I don't know. We haven't, we've lost some games, or at the end we couldn't make a play we needed to, but we've been on the verge of winning 6, 7, 8 the last couple of years. We've been a little shy of that. This team could do the same thing, or this team could stay shy. And that's what I'm saying. You're just kind of looking forward to seeing how these guys want to ride it out.
The opening week is always going to be a bit of a shakedown to have a bye week right after that. Does that affect?
If it was a real schedule and we didn't have another bye week, I would not like it because I think it's too early. I think you really want to, you work hard, you want to get in rhythm. And then so, I mean, to me right now, it's all about Indiana State, and then we got to find ways to improve from that in the open week. You can say it's a learning curve, but you want to get in rhythm. If we didn't have another bye week, I would really not like it because it'd be 11 weeks in a row. You kind of get nicked up or beat up. So I think sometimes you like them after that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th game. You don't like it week 1 or 2 most of the time, and you really don't like it when it's the last 2 weeks. You want it somewhere in the middle so you can kind of regroup, eval, catch your breath, and then make a run down the end. That's what I'm looking at now. We pointed everything into this one. We'll have a chance to regroup and have a 6-game run. Then we have an open date, and we have a 5-game run. And so right now all our focus is on Indiana State, and then we're going to catch our breaths and get ready and see if we can jumpstart again and get ready for the following 6 games in a row.
Kevin, what would you like to see from Bobby Richardson? What does he need to give you?
Well, he's been always, I think he's one of the more underappreciated guys on our team, and he's kind of been fighting his first couple of years through just some hip and low back and almost like a sport hernia deal where he gets a little gimpy and can't play at the speed that he has. I think he's he comes here as a defensive end. We play him at 3 technique tackle. Now he's playing a 4-5 technique for us in our scheme that we're doing, and he's very diverse. He's had the best preseason he's ever had. He's healthier than he's ever been. I think he's one of the more I think we have guys on our team that have better stats, that have better name value to our fans, but he might be our best senior as a player, and he's one of our better leaders. So I'm expecting him to play at a high end and have a great year for us. He's had his best practices to date the last 2 weeks. He's been very, very good.
He's a guy a little bit like you, came in a little undersized and Walkon kid for his scholarship. Did you always kind of look at him that way a little bit and remind you of yourself?
Yeah, no, he's better than I ever thought about being. He's a guy when you go through your journey. He was a guy that was not coming to preseason practice his freshman year. Was not an invited walk-on. Everybody wants to be invited, preferred, and all these fancy words. He was a guy that on the numbers was on the outside looking in. And I think one of our one of the freshmen in that class that year broke an ankle late in summer, and all of a sudden now he couldn't play. It opened up a spot. And I think the day before reporting date, the year before our staff was here, he was invited to camp and he redshirted. Our first year, in spring, he's a little bit undersized, but he's battling. But as we got in the season, his second year, we weren't particularly playing as hard as you wanted, and he had a lot of buy-in. He's a little small, but we went with him. And he spelled Will Maddie a little bit when Will got hurt at center for a game or two. I think he started a handful of games at right guard. From there, it kind of rolled it, and to me, he's basically a 4-year starter, although he hadn't started every game. He's going to be, barring any injuries, he's going to be a 2-year starter of 20-some, 30-some games in a row. So he's a very good player. I think he's a potential pro camp guy. I worry about his size. In the pro roster, they only keep 7 guys. And you got to be a little bit of a center guard guy. And he's a little more just compact enough where he's kind of ideal at center. Sometimes in the pro game, he'll have difficulty in some of those big 3 techniques because of his size. But he is extremely athletic. He's a great, like Bobby, one of our best leaders. He's a great worker. He's what we want guys to look like. And when you're telling guys maybe how to do things now, you don't tell them how to do. You just say, well, watch that guy and stretch like he stretches, practice like he practices. And I think he's one of the better centers in our conference. And I know this. I know he's one of our best players, and I like him a lot. I don't know how he compares to anybody else, but I know he's awfully good for us.
I know that Tevin was talking about how excited he is to be back and to listen to like the games last year. How important to the offense that the guy got really strong?
You said Tevin, right? Yeah. I mean, he's a dynamic player and some big play capability, and I think we're going to look for a little bit more consistency too, and what's going on, and I think that comes from the offensive line with all those guys back, that we can take runs, that we can press into the line of scrimmage instead of making backfield cuts and going sideways, and you got safeties and backers coming up. If we can get him going downhill and downhill fast, he can split some seams and take it to the distance. So again, he's had looked very good here the last few days. I think he had a fast bounce in his step last night. We need him to have a good year, but he'll go as that line goes, as good as he can. That line and those perimeter guys, our ability to throw the ball and keep him out of there or lock him up and block in the perimeter. He's a really good player, but it'll if he has a great year, it's because he has some great teammates getting it done for him.
What are you looking specifically out of this 3-4 defenses that you get some gas to? Are there any like one or two things that you really want to evaluate and that'll determine whether that was a good introduction to that or not?
Well, as much as I don't think it's really as radical a change as on paper it will appear to be. I think we've adapted to it really well. I'd like to see us play with an unbelievable amount of energy and effort, which means you know what you're doing. Because if you're sitting out there and you don't know the call, and all of a sudden it's a game, and you've done it in practice 100 times, now I'm on the game field, and hey, I'm not supporting the run or canceling the gap or having my proper alignment. So one, I'd like to see us be aggressive, which means we're going to know what we're doing. Because if you're thinking, like I tell the guys all the time, if you're thinking, you don't know. You're thinking. If you know, you know. You know the call, you know the job, do the job. If you're thinking, you don't know. So I'd like to see these guys playing fast. That means they got to know what they're doing. So that'll be interesting with Coach Nord, how much he wants to do, because I think the faster we can play with being assertive and confident, I think the second thing, our ability to tackle and tackle well and not hit people, but tackle and wrap up. And we've worked a lot on wrapping and squeezing and getting people on the ground through our fundamental work and through our scrimmages, and it's been significantly better. Practice, but let's do it, quote, when it counts. And I think the last thing is the ability, again, like I say, just to communicate, get lined up, and be sound. Let's be aggressive, let's tackle well, and let's be sound. And when I say sound, you got the call. So I don't know how much we're going to do. We've done a lot in camp. I'm sure there's a lot more they can say, whatever they can give those. Coach Norrell will give you some magical number of what percentage of his playbook's in. In all honesty, he doesn't have a playbook because nobody reads anymore. It's video stuff. So, but he'll give you some 53.4% in or something. I don't know where he came up with that number. But they've done a lot at us, and they've been throwing a lot at us. And I don't think we're going to sit there and just be vanilla. I like to see these guys fly around, and I'm expecting this team to play well. I think that's what's different. We just expect to have a better season. So, it's nice you've worked hard and you've practiced and, quote, all those things give you a chance. But what needs to happen is we just got, we need to start doing the thing. We need to start playing. We need to start winning. I expect our guys to. It's going to be the first game's going to be difficult. We're going to have some issues and we're going to have some problems. But if we're a good team, we'll handle it. And I expect us to. We got enough veterans back. We've recruited well, and I expect us to look and play like a good football team. We'll see if we are. We'll see where we start, and then we're going to see how far we can take it. Oh, I don't know. It kind of frees up for them where if you say, like, hey, I'd like for you to, because we're only allowed so much time, quote, with them. Well, it used to be, okay, you got to come into the building to watch tape. Well, now you get a chance, hey, if you want to, you're done, like today's the first day of class. Hey, so when you're done at night, we practiced last night. So now during the day, they can access, and no one else can. We have to give it to the guy in-house on his computer. He can only log into it there. So it's a very secure system. You can watch whether it be Indiana State games from last year, our practice from last night. And so guys can just, they have more time on their own. But again, that's to me what I told the team last night. Physically, we're a better team, but mentally, are we? Are we going to work mentally like a real high-end team does? We've worked physically, but now are you going to study? Are you going to invest? Because we're trying to get these guys to a point, too, the way we practice. And I think we practice pretty tough. I'm trying to practice a way to keep this team fresh. If we physically do some things to keep you fresh, you mentally have to push yourself. Because if you're mentally not going to push yourself, we physically got to get a lot more reps on the field. So how much can these guys take advantage of the iPads as a teaching deal to learn, so we can go back to your one question a minute ago from David, we can play fast because we know what we're doing. So to me, it's just a great learning research tool, and I think, part with our Bill of Rights, every athlete on campus has one. I think it's also today it's being used for notes. So now instead of class checking, when the kid leaves his class, he emails the notes back, so he's in class. That's a pretty good deal too. So now we don't have to drive around campus and see what they're doing. Say, show me your notes, and so it's an immediate walk out of class. That's a pretty good deal too. That way my GA can study football instead of class check. I don't have to do class checks on Fridays anymore.
Receivers and tight end, obviously, been your biggest losses. Are you encouraged what you've seen so far this month with, filling those holes?
And what was the
With receivers and tight end.
And what about filling them?
Just, that's where your biggest losses were. You've seen some freshmen step up for you this month.
You see some flashes. Now they're young, and there's going to be some growing pains with it. You got an older crowd with Stoner and Roundtree and Wynn. You've got the intermediate guys in there, guys who've been around a little bit. Damon Graham has really picked it up. Can we get put on scholarship? He had 2 touchdowns the other day and some developmental work, 2 house calls. He's got some speed. And again, not a primary guy, but going to have a good role and a special team role that you like. And we finally got Ricky Jones back healthy, and he's looking better, and he's in the mix. But it goes from the old guys to the middle crowd, the freshman crowd with Don Booth, Jay Sean Harris, Simi Cobbs. Corey Keel right now is the 4th one. He is probably not in that top mix now, so maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. In the opener, he's not set to play. But I think Jay Sean starts at a higher place than Shane Wynn did. I think Simi Cobbs is starting at a very high place. Now, it's not as good as he's not as good as Shane Wynn, but he's starting at a higher level than Shane started. Still freshman, going to be some mistakes, not ideal, but you're excited about Dom and Jay Sean and those guys, and they'll be very much in the mix, and they'll be playing on special teams, I'm sure. They'll be playing as a part of the offensive rotation, and you'll see them early, and we'll see how much they grasp and how it grows. But they start at a reasonably positive level and because there is a lull between our seniors and some of those second and third year guys haven't played well or haven't done well, there's a little void, and we were kind of fortunate. I think we've recruited well, but until they play in games, we'll see. Like the things they've done in practice, they've made a bunch of plays in practice. Tight end, Jordan Fuchs, very athletic tight end. Michael Cooper, a scholarship player from Arizona, transferred in. We lose Bolzer, but I think Jordan's very, very athletic. I think he started. I didn't see Ted as a freshman, but I got a feeling, knowing Ted's skill set, as I saw him older, I think Jordan starts at a very high place as far as where he starts. Now, it's not going to be as good as Ted leaving, year 4, year 5. So it's there's some maturity going on, but they're very, very talented kids.
And that part doesn't mean much, but none of the true freshmen are on this depth chart, but which of them would you expect to come?
Let's see here. I think as far as freshmen that maybe aren't, I think Divine Redding at running back has a chance to be in the mix with special teams and playing, because we did 2 deep. Some of these times we listed a couple threes, but mostly it was 2 deep. D-line, I think what you see is what you got up there. I think Robert McCray at our bandit spot can be in the mix with Mangieri and Shaw. Damian Willis at the Sandbacker, where Flo and Clyde have a lot of experience. If those guys are healthy playing good, he's 3rd. But if not, he gets into the mix, and he's playing special teams. So week 1, he could be odd man out, because you got 2 veteran guys that played well, a lot for you and played well. All of a sudden, if you had an injury, he gets worked up and he gets on special teams. So, but in our eyes, he's kind of in the mix. I don't know if he's playing game 1, but he's still in the mix. I think at linebacker, I think Gooch and Scales inside. Sykes possibly. I think they're right now a little farther with depth. It's kind of like Damon Willis. Is it worth the special team, a little bit of play or a lot? So I think those couple guys, and I think Donovan Clark at corner is another guy that's in the mix that we have. There's not a deadline of when you got a red shirt or not. If you play, you play. But I think you're going to see a number of those, about 10, 11, 12 of those freshmen potentially playing. I don't know if they all play week 1, because we might wait and see Wes Martin in the offensive line. For example, if we've had a knee injury with Bailey last year, a knee injury with Kaminsky. Wes Rogers was out. If they get nicked up, Wes Rogers is very good and can play as a freshman O-lineman. But right now, if we're healthy, we're going to redshirt him. So, it's good to redshirt kids. If they're not ready to play, and they're not going to play a lot. But I'm going to tell you, in this day and age where everybody wants immediate gratification, immediate satisfaction, as hard as you work when you don't play in games, this game sometimes can be tough. So we like to play as many freshmen as we can. We just don't want to burn the year. I think you go between now and Missouri, and you kind of figure it out. It gives us a 4-week window counting the open date. And by then, you might, third, fourth week, you might say, hey, we need to get this guy in the mix. So-and-so's nicked up. Like I say, a lot of those guys are on the varsity field. They're slated maybe to play, maybe not. But what you're seeing right there is going to play with the names I've mentioned. I think Redding, Donovan Clark, Scales, Gooch, some of those guys get in the mix, and they'll be playing special teams.
With civil rights, does that mean scholarships not go to the end of their eligibility, or how does that work?
When they come in, it's for our recruited guys. So we'll keep using our walk-on deals, 1-year deal. Yeah, because what we do, we actually use that for twofold. A lot of guys, like my deal is I don't want to give a kid a scholarship. I want the kid to help us win. So I've had a lot of walk-ons through time. Once they've got their scholarship, it's almost like they quit working, like they got what they wanted. Like, I need you to help us win. So it's like you want them to re-earn it back. And that being said, too, that it's a 1-year deal. So if you got a class like a year ago, we had 10, 11 seniors, but we had 5 or 6 juniors graduating in a 4-year. That gets you to 15, 16. You have those 6 walk-ons, you take those back, now you can go sign 22 guys. And then when you have attrition and a guy does something he shouldn't do, or a guy doesn't want to be here and transfers, all of a sudden money comes back open. But when money comes open in May, June, July, and August, there's no recruits to go get. So it's just an aggressive way of allowing us to recruit at a maximum level, and then telling the walk-on, like, hey, don't get content on us. Matter of fact, we've had walk-ons have it 1 year and not get it the next, and did nothing wrong. It just, the team got more competitive. Anything else?
From IU, your thoughts on Sam Bradford and
Yeah, tough deal for Sam. I saw the other day, like they were recording, I saw the grimace on his face. I go, what'd he do? And they just had a leg injury. So I just caught and I hadn't had a chance to watch a bunch of sports and news with our practices, but he's a phenomenal player, and it's a tough deal. And I did catch one of the NFL shows last night, just trying to catch the game and see some highlights of what was going on. And I think it was Kurt Warner said, now he's kind of missing almost 2 full years. That's going to be a hard deal. I know in their world they got business deals. He's got his contract. They got all those things to get through. But for example, when I was talking to our quarterbacks the other day, and I said, hey, the amount of time I see you compared to Sam Bradford working extra, I said, and I have a GA that was at Oklahoma. I said, what do you think? And the GA said, it ain't even close how hard that guy was working to be a great player, with just his commitment to study, extra study, taking care of his body. So he's a phenomenal college player, and it's just a bad deal for him, and you love him and pray for him, and he'll be fine. All right. Have a good one, guys.